Company with deep roots in the Twin Ports is celebrating 50 years of partnerships. AMSOIL Incorporated is a synthetic oil manufacturer founded by a Duluth native and based in Superior. The AMSOIL dealer network launched in 1973, which significantly grew the company. This weekend, hundreds of independent AMSOIL dealers gather in the Twin Ports to celebrate their 5 decades of partnership. People will tour the facility and interact with influential automotive personalities.
It doesn't make any sense to have an oil company in Duluth and Superior, but this is where our founder was from, and his son, Alan Amatuzio, runs the company today. And it's important to us that we remain here. We're dedicated to this community.
AMSOIL reps say they try to do business locally as much as they can. Today, AMSOIL products are sold in more than 80 countries.